Welcome back guys. After discussing about the reflexes, now let's go into the topic of hypothalamus. Already we have discussed this in endocrinology also. Hypothalamus is a master regulator of the endocrine system. Hypothalamus contains different nuclei which produces different types of hormones like GnRH, CRH, growth hormone releasing hormone, thyrotropin releasing hormone. Different hormones are coming from the different nuclei of the hypothalamus. See, hypothalamus is very small. It's just the size of your nail. Okay, it's very small structure. But this hypothalamus can do so many things in our body. This hypothalamus contains many nuclei. Different nuclei are there, and every nucleus has its own function. Okay, for your exams, they will ask you what is the nuclei name and what is it controlling in our body. For example, look here, there is a nucleus called as a suprachiasmatic nucleus. What it will do? See, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, okay, it is going to control your circadian rhythm. Okay, it's going to control your circadian rhythm. What is circadian rhythm means? Sleep-wake cycles. Sleep-wake cycles. Okay, it's going to control your sleep and wake cycles. When you have to wake up and when you have to go to the sleep. Okay, every day, every 24 hours, same things are repeating again and again. Every day at afternoon 1 o'clock, you will be having the hunger. Every day at 10 p.m. you will be having the sleepiness. Okay, so the rhythm, okay, is controlled by the suprachiasmatic nucleus. That is the reason why the suprachiasmatic nucleus, as it is controlling the same events again and again at same particular time, that's why it is also called as a biological clock. Biological clock. Next, one more important hormone. See, I am just taking a note here. This is an extra point. One more important hormone has a role in maintenance of the circadian rhythm. What is that? Melatonin. Okay, melatonin. It's coming from where? Pineal gland. Pineal gland. So, pineal gland produces melatonin, and melatonin is going to control your circadian rhythm. Okay, that's it. Next, hypothalamus has a role in food intake also. Okay, it's going to control our food intake, how much to eat and how much not to eat, when to stop and when to begin, something like that. See, the lateral nucleus, by releasing a neurotransmitter called as orexin. This lateral nucleus, it is the one which is going to increase your hunger sensation. Is your hunger center actually. Okay, it is going to increase your hunger sensation. And after eating a plate full of food, okay, how you will feel? You will feel like you are full. The feeling of fullness will be there. So, that is because of the ventromedial nucleus. The ventromedial nucleus is the one which will decrease your hunger or causes satiety, feeling of satiety. What is the meaning of satiety? Feeling of fullness. Okay, feeling of fullness, like you don't want to eat further. So, who increases food intake? The one who increases the food intake is the lateral nucleus, and the ventromedial nucleus is going to decrease the food intake. One is the hunger center, another is the satiety center. And regarding the body temperature, forget about the arcuate nucleus, we are not going to discuss this right now. Body temperature, right here, thermoregulation. Lots of time this question has been asked. Where is the thermoregulatory center present in our body? We all know our body temperature is properly regulated at proper degrees. Okay, so where are these thermoregulatory centers? It's in hypothalamus. What are the names of those thermoregulatory centers? Anterior hypothalamic nucleus and posterior hypothalamic nucleus. Okay, anterior and posterior hypothalamic nucleus. Always remember A for AC. Anterior hypothalamic nucleus is the AC in your body, which means it decreases your body temperature. It decreases your body temperature. But posterior is the heater, sir. Okay, posterior one is the heater. What it will do? It increases your body temperature. So, one increases the body temperature, other decreases the body temperature. Okay. Now, the questions which we are asking in the exam is how you are going to either increase or decrease the body temperature. How you can increase your body temperature or decrease the body temperature. How is it possible? So, the posterior hypothalamic nucleus, which is trying to increase your body temperature, how? By two mechanisms. One is via shivering and vasoconstriction. Okay, via shivering and vasoconstriction. These are the two mechanisms by which you can increase your body temperature. So, whenever you shiver, your body temperature increases, and whenever there is vasoconstriction, less blood will come to the skin. Whenever the less blood is coming to the skin, less heat loss, more heat gain. Okay, so whenever you do the vasoconstriction, again I am repeating, whenever you do the vasoconstriction, less blood will come to the skin, less heat loss. If more blood comes, more heat loss. If less blood comes, less heat loss, so more heat gain. Next, Then what about the anterior nucleus? Sir, anterior nucleus is AC, it decreases your body temperature. How? Why? Two mechanisms. One is sweating and vasodilation. Okay, vasodilation. How the questions will be coming in your exam? Thermoregulatory centers are present in hypothalamus. What are the two thermoregulatory centers? One is the anterior nucleus and other is the posterior hypothalamic nucleus. Now, questions is, look at the questions. If you are having damage to the anterior hypothalamic nucleus, means AC function gone today, there is no more AC in your body. So, what will happen to your body temperature? It will rise. So, the patient is going to have the high body temperature, he will be having fever. He will get the fever. Okay. Next, what else you should know? See, whenever you shiver, I have taught you, whenever you shiver, you are going to increase your body temperature. But there is something called as a non-shivering thermogenesis. Non-shivering thermogenesis seen in infants, and in which part of the body? See, even infants without even shivering, they can increase their body temperature, they can produce a heat. Where? In brown fat. Okay, in brown fat, or you can say brown adipose tissue. These infants are having the brown adipose tissue, especially near the under the clavicle region and then near the axilla region. So, this brown fat is producing the heat. That's called as a non-shivering thermogenesis. Okay. Next, anything else that you should know for your exam? See, whenever a patient is going into hypothermia, okay, let me write here hypothermia. That is, body temperature is falling. Whenever a person is going into hypothermia, which ECG change is going to be seen? Which ECG change is going to be seen? Very important. A patient with a hypothermia, you can see an ECG change, that is Osborn J waves. Osborn J waves are seen in hypothermia. That's the one important. Next, temperature regulation or thermoregulation is an example of, they will ask you, see, whenever you go into cold temperature, or whenever you go into some area where there is cold, even before the body temperature falls, see, even before the body temperature falls, the core body temperature is not falling. Even before the core body temperature falls, you will start to shiver, so that you will maintain the body temperature. Okay. So, this is an example of negative feedback reflex, positive feedback reflex, or feed forward reflex. It's an example of feed forward, means anticipation. We are having receptors, we are having the lot of thermoreceptors. They will detect if there is any cold sensation, cold temperature outside, immediately they will give the signal for the body to do the shivering, so that body temperature, even before the core body temperature falls, will start to shiver, so that we are producing more heat, trying to prevent the decrease in the core body temperature. So, always remember, temperature regulation or thermoregulation is an example of, feed forward mechanism. Very important. Okay, they will ask you what are the examples of the feed forward mechanism. The feed forward means anticipation. Even before the core body temperature falls, our body is showing the response, shivering. One more feed forward example I am giving you, feed forward control example. Even before eating, you just look at the food, or you just think about the food, or you smell the food, automatically salivation happens. Anticipation, your body will anticipate, this fellow is going to definitely eat. Whenever he is thinking about the food, he will eat, so automatically salivation started and gastric acid production started. So, that is also an example of feed forward control. So, in the same way, even before the core body temperature falls, automatically my body will start to shiver, trying to produce the heat. Okay, that is also an example of feed forward control mechanism. Next, any endocrine functions are there? Hypothalamus also has the endocrine functions. What are the endocrine functions? Two important nucleus which I want you to know for your exam. Two important. There are many nucleus, but two important nucleus which I want you to know for your exam. That is a supraoptic nucleus and paraventricular nucleus. Even in endocrine physiology, I have discussed this. See, always remember, like a soap. The mnemonic is soap. Supraoptic nucleus produces antidiuretic hormone and paraventricular nucleus produces oxytocin. Okay. So, yes, the supraoptic nucleus produces which hormone? Antidiuretic hormone, and the paraventricular nucleus produces oxytocin. So, these are the hormones coming from this to hypothalamic nucleus. Next, regulation of the sleep. Hypothalamus also controls your sleep. It is not only controlling your food intake, it is not only controlling your hormonal control, not only the body temperature, but it also controls your sleep. The two nucleus, one is the lateral hypothalamic nucleus and the posterior hypothalamic nucleus. Wait, students, I have already discussed with you this lateral hypothalamic nucleus is the hunger center, it increases your hunger, and the anterior is AC, posterior is a heater. Already I have discussed with you these two nucleus. They are having other functions also, but they will keep you awake. The lateral hypothalamic nucleus by producing the orexins and posterior hypothalamic nucleus by producing the histamine, they are going to keep your cortex active. They are always keeping the cortex active so that you are going to be awake. They are responsible for wakefulness. Okay, these are the two nucleus which are trying to keep you awake. But in actual reality, there are 4 nucleus. Okay, there are 4 nucleus which are trying to keep you awake. 4 nucleus are there, out of which 2 nucleus are there in the hypothalamus. What are the examples of 2 hypothalamic nucleus? Lateral nucleus and posterior nucleus. They are the wakefulness centers. Okay, now as we are discussing about the sleep, here itself let us see what are the 4 nucleus which will try to keep you awake. Okay, so here I am showing you what are the wakefulness centers. Take the heading wakefulness centers. Out of the 4 wakefulness centers, you already know two centers. What are they? One is lateral hypothalamic nucleus, and posterior hypothalamic nucleus. Okay, lateral hypothalamic nucleus and posterior hypothalamic nucleus. Okay, they are the wakefulness centers. And lateral hypothalamic nucleus, just now I have taught you, it is going to produce what? It is going to produce orexins. And posterior hypothalamic nucleus produces histamine. And there is something called as a reticular formation. Reticular formation produces the norepinephrine. Okay, reticular formation, there is something called as a reticular formation in your brainstem, and this reticular formation releases norepinephrine. Especially in reticular formation, there is a nucleus called as a locus ceruleus. This locus ceruleus produces lots of norepinephrine. And Raphe nucleus. This Raphe nucleus produces serotonin. Okay, serotonin. Okay, these are the 4 different nucleus which is trying to keep you awake. Right now, if you are awake, all thanks to these 4 wakefulness centers. These are the centers which are trying to keep you awake. Okay, now you tell me, what are the 4 neurotransmitters which are trying to help you keeping awake? Orexins, histamine, norepinephrine, serotonin. What is the source of serotonin in the brain? The source of serotonin in the brain is Raphe nucleus. That was the question which was asked. You tell me what happened to these neurotransmitters during the night. So during the night or during sleeping, what happened to these neurotransmitters? Do you want these neurotransmitters now? No, there is no need of these neurotransmitters. So they will decrease during sleep. These neurotransmitters decrease during sleep. They will decrease during the sleep. Then what about the sleeping centers? Okay, we are having 4, sir. We are having 4 centers which are trying to keep you awake. But what is a sleeping center? The sleeping center is called as ventrolateral preoptic. Ventrolateral preoptic nucleus. You can write it as like VL-PON. Okay, ventrolateral preoptic nucleus, VL-PON. And what are the neurotransmitters responsible for the sleep? Okay, these are the 4 neurotransmitters which are trying to keep you awake. But what is the sleeping neurotransmitters? Acetylcholine and GABA. Okay, these are the 2 neurotransmitters which will take you actually into the sleep. So they will decrease the cortical activity and they will take you into the sleep. Okay, so with this what we have completed? We have completed what are the important functions of the hypothalamus and what are the hypothalamic centers which will regulate the sleep. In total, how many centers are there? 4 wakefulness centers are there, out of which 2 are there in the hypothalamus. Okay, with this the topic is completed. Hope the video is helpful. Thank you.